Hey everybody, it's Mary with Stamps-N-Lingers, and it is Saturday night at 7 o'clock Eastern, which means it is time for a YouTube video. I'm just going to double check that I am actually transmitilating over here. Off stage left. There we go. Hey Kathy, appreciate you coming. And I hope that you'll like it when you see it made. Okay, hey Connie, appreciate you coming. I'm glad you were able to make it live. Hey Rosie, hi Marva. All right, I'm going to try to get through this without coughing, so I may have to stop and take a little break for a sip of something, but if you'll just bear with me, we'll make it through. Hey Lorraine. All right, so this is called Joseph's Coat, and I've used this technique now with the Soft Seedlings card or stamp set, which is one of my favorites. It's kind of a flyover, very simple. It doesn't have a die set that goes with it, but it's truly a gorgeous stamp set and perfect for fall. So I've also used stylish shapes, and everything will be on my blog tomorrow, so you don't even need to take notes. All right, so Joseph's Coat is basically, it's a form of emboss resist. All right, so first we're going to color a panel with some fall colors. Then we're going to do some heat embossing on top with the Soft Seedling stamp set. And then we will do a little bit more, and you'll see how this all works out together. Okay, let me be sure I have a paper towel. Hey, Daryl. Hello, Barbara. Hi, Teresa. Hey, Faith. Oh, yeah, we were out of power for about 4 hours today. I think a tree must have fallen down on the power line somewhere. So, yeah. Hey, Carol. Hi, Errol. Hi, Rosemary. Hi, Sarah. Hello, everybody. All right, so I have a very vanilla panel, and I am going to use pumpkin pie, Cajun craze, and crushed curry. Kind of classic fall colors, right? And I will try to keep my blending brushes in their correct colors because, you know, otherwise I'm going to have a mess. So I'm just going to start. The idea here is to just lay down color very randomly, okay? There's really absolutely positively no rhyme and also no reason. The hardest part here is remembering to not stick your blending brush back in the wrong color. So I just put down a little bit of Cajun craze, and now I'm putting some pumpkin pie. And then I'm going to do a little bit of crushed curry. Hello, Jean. Appreciate you coming. And I hope you'll like it. So you do kind of want to fill in all the spots. And I also try to not get them too blended. Okay, because you don't want to muddy the colors up. All right, and I think that looks pretty good. I'm going to put a little bit more of the pumpkin pie right in there. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to close these so I don't make an error here and stick my big hand in somewhere. Probably the hardest part of this technique for me is not getting ink all over myself, because I can do that in the best of times. All right, now you really, really, really want this to be dry, so I'm just going to use my heat tool on low to get this dried off really well. The nice thing about the Stampin' Up! Heat tool is that you have low for drying things like this and high for the actual heat embossing, so that's kind of helpful. All right. Hey Rose, well I'm glad you were able to make it. And then I'm going to just do a quick brush with my embossing buddy just to be sure. Okay, now we're going to use clear embossing powder. That's what I would recommend for this. And I've got the large stamped, the stamp here, and I'm going to stamp it a couple of 3 times all over this panel in Versamark ink. Okay, so we'll go there. And you kind of want to be careful that you don't put your big fingers in your stamped image. I'm not going to say I've ever done that, but I totally have because I can't see it very well. But you can kind of pick it up and turn it to see where you've got the stamp going. Put some right there. And then a little more right here in this corner. Like so. Let's see. Yep. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to put a little bit right here on this edge. Just a little bit. Like that. Okay. You probably can't tell, but I can see that I have stamped the image everywhere. All right, so I'm going to close the Versamark up. I'm going to clean off my stamp. I do like to clean the Versamark off of the stamps kind of quickly because it can get kind of sticky kind of quick. So, you know, that's just me. You can wait if you want, but I recommend that you do it quickly. Hey, Lenny, I am starting to feel better. Yes, indeed. Way less tired. Probably the worst part of this thing that I had, which I'm pretty certain was COVID of some sort, some variant, was just being dragon tired. Okay, so kind of check all over to be sure you've got all of the embossed areas covered, and then I'm going to set this out of the way and give it a blow off and a flip off. And you can start to see that I've cleared the embossing powder from everywhere but where it's stamped. And I am going to do a quick brush off of my paper because I have now got embossing powder everywhere. Like everywhere. Okay, so now we're back. Okay. And then I'm going to use, wow, I had embossing powder everywhere. My heat tool on high to heat emboss this. So it's going to be a little loud. I'm apologizing ahead of time. But I didn't want to do this ahead of time. I wanted to do it on the video because, you know, it's kind of like 99% of the card. Once this is done, the card just is slap on a sentiment and be ready to roll, baby. I do love this. It's a great, great technique, Joseph's Coat, and it's really awesome for fall cards with these leaf images. And Soft Seedlings is kind of like a perfect choice. Now remember, embossing powder when it's hot is also quite sticky and smearable. So keep your big fingers out of it. Hi, Amy. Hey, Debbie. Thank you, Cheryl. I appreciate that. And I'm just kind of trying to cock my head around so I can see where I've gotten to be sure I'm getting everything embossed. And you can watch it turn. It's pretty cool to watch it. For many people, heat embossing is one of the first techniques that they do that really makes them go, oh yes, I want to play with these things because it's so fun. The magic of chemistry. Possibly it's physics, I'm not sure. Okay, I think that got it. Let me just do a quick double check here. Yeah, everything looks embossed. We're just going to let it cool a second. And the next piece is the part that is the magic of Joseph's Coat. All right. Now, you will see some people do this in black, and black would be really great, I think, for Christmassy colors, where you're using reds and greens and maybe some golds, i.e. yellow. But I liked this early espresso for this fall color. And the trick here is you really, really want to lay your ink on. You want it to be deep and dark and pretty much cover up all of the card. All right. Now I have seen folks, I think, you know, scrape their ink pad along the cardstock, but I kind of like the control with the blending brush a little better. You could probably use a sponge dauber as well. And it takes a second because you're really laying on quite a bit of color. But that's okay. These things take time. And you can see it's looking pretty ugly right now. But you wait until you see what happens when I pull out a paper towel. You are going to be so impressed. But you do want to get plenty of ink on the part of the cardstock that is not embossed in particular, because that's what's going to really make those leaves pop. So yeah, I'm not going to get in a big hurry, and I am going to take the time it takes. All right. Are you guys having fun with the perfect partners? I hope you're all getting those matching dies. They're pretty cool. I think I have them all at this point. I have to do a double check. Okay, I'm gonna let that set a second and get my paper towel out. And then I'm gonna wipe across it. Now watch off that, how that dark ink comes off of the emboss. That's the emboss resist piece of this technique. Now you could also use a damp rag, and what that's going to do is going to pull the ink out of the nooks and the crannies of the embossing. I've done it both ways, and I actually prefer to do it like this to let that definition show up, okay? But I'm going to put a little more dark. And I might need a little more ink on my ink pad, so you guys might want to use a little juicier ink pad than I've got. See this problem right here? This is where I'm going to have a problem as we get further on in the card. I'm going to get ink everywhere, so I am going to take the time to make sure my fingers are clean. My fingers are clean. I need clean fingers. All right. I think that's gonna do it, so I'm gonna put this away. Oh, Teresa, I'm so happy to hear it. Hope you'll try it after you see how to do it. And then I'm gonna wipe my fingers off. I'm kind of just letting the non-embossed portions dry just a little bit, just so I don't wipe off quite so much ink when I get my paper towel out. All right, and then let's give this one more wipe off. And look how those leaves just pop out. See, what started as a hot mess all of a sudden is a beautiful card front with just some embossing and a little bit of ink. Very nice. Okay, now apparently I need to wipe my fingers again. Okay, now the rest of this card is easy and peasy. First, I'm going to just mat this on a piece of early espresso card base or cardstock using some liquid glue. Like so. And the cardstock has a little bit of a warp to it because of all the embossing and the heating. So I'm just going to turn it over like that and give it a rub, just to lay everything down really good. Okay. Now, I already stamped a sentiment from Soft Seedlings in Cajun Craze on a piece of very vanilla and cut it with a basic shapes or a stylish shapes die. And what I am going to do now is take some Stampin' Seal and some of the faux suede trim, and we're going to put a little loop-de-doo of the trim on here. And I'll just take some of my Stampin' Seal Plus and get it to stick on there. Come on now, baby. It worked perfect. Well, I may have to use a glue dot. Well, have you guys heard of the perversity of an inanimate object? Well, that's what you just saw there. So now we're going to use a couple of glue dots. There's more than one way to skin this catfish. Put a couple of glue dots there. And then we can use those to roll that ink, that ribbon. Ribbon. It's a ribbon is what it is. It is ribbon. Ribbon. Stay, Ubu. Stay. 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 There we go. Okay. Now I'm just gonna put some like that and then double it back on itself like so. And then we'll need one more glue dot. Ooh, Blackberry Bliss might be really cool. Yeah. Yes, indeedy doodle. Okay. And then one more flip back like that. And we'll cut that. Where are you, ribbon scissors? There we go. And we'll get it everything put down and then trim that off a little bit. And then I have a textural element that I am going to adhere just like that with some liquid glue. And then we'll pop that sentiment over the top with some dimensionales. Okay. Get up there. Get up there. And I'm gonna use some blacker ones. Some blacker ones. Like a shoe. And he's gonna go like that, so I can put one right out here. And we may need to double that up. Let me check. Let me check. No, I think we can make that work like that. And I'll pick these off with my ever so useful fingernails. Now, you don't need to use small dimensionals, mini dimensionals. It's just what I had out. And I like the black ones with these dark colors. So there we go with the sentiment. And then I thought I would do a few rustic metallic adhesive back dottlies. Let me use the smaller ones. The smaller ones, a smaller one for these, a smaller one for these. And that's all it's gonna be, baby. Right there like that. We'll put a big one down here and another small one. And that's our card front. So for me, this could be for a guy, it could be for a gal, it could be for really pretty much anybody in the fall time. Now I'm going to do the inside. Here's where I get into a problem. This is where, let me just do a quick wipe over to be sure I'm not getting ink everywhere, every stinking where. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my ink pads back out, all three of them. So once again, I run the risk of sticking my blending brush in the wrong spot. So keep your fingers crossed. And I'm going to take my clean stamp set, okay, my clean stamp, and I'm just going to use my blending brush on the directly on the stamp, okay, like this. And really no rhyme or reason. What did I just do? I already did it wrong, didn't I? Oh well, it'll be okay. There we go. And a little bit around there. And then I'm just going to stamp this in the corner. Like so. And I have one more sentiment for you that we're going to stamp in Cajun Craze right here. Like that. Now, I'm going to put that aside and I'm going to do my envelope right quick because I want to be able to put my ink pads away for reals now. Now, here's a tip. When you're doing this blending brush technique to color your stamp, go ahead and clean it between each of your stamps. Otherwise, you're going to end up muddying up your colors. Okay? So clean it each time and then come back and do some inking up. Like that. Okay, and I'm going to put that on the front, like so. And the fun thing about doing the blending brushes is that it's different every time. So you get a lot of variety without any other stamp sets or ink pads. Ooh. That's what I call versatile, Mary. Yeah, right. I know you're so impressed. You're so impressed, I know. Where's my Cajun Craze? Here we go. Like so, and then we're just going to put it on the envelope flap like that. Perfect. Now I can put these away so I don't have an inkatastrophe. Because an inkatastrophe is always on the table. Yes, Beth, it surely would make a beautiful Thanksgiving card. Okay. So, let's see, where's my inside? Here says my envelope. These are envelopes. Let's get this and adhere it to another piece of early espresso. And then I played around with different card-based colors, and I decided to go with Very Vanilla, just to keep it quiet and let the Joseph's Coat really shine. Because it is the star of the show. So I just have a thick Very Vanilla card base, and we're going to put the inner liner in. Trick here, just be sure it's right side up. Just saying. I have never have I ever put an inner liner in upside down. Said really no card maker ever. And if any card maker ever tells you they have, I guarantee you they are lying. I promise you they are lying. Everyone has done it at least once. There's an old saying out there in the world, there's them who has and them who will. So if you're one of those ones that haven't yet, don't despair. Your turn is coming. And you'll be fine when it happens. It will also teach you to triple check every time you go to adhere your inner liner inside, I can assure you. Because it is embarrassing. I did give a card to my husband with the inside upside down once because I just didn't have the energy to change it. And I thought, well, you know, he's going to just say, oh, that's so nice. He may not even notice it. All right, there we go. So see, I thought it was good with the Very Vanilla on the card front. And there we go. Joseph's Coat with soft seedling. Easy peasy and a lot of fun. Think of all the options. Think of the stamp sets that have lots of detail that you can get that embossing into and then really let the color shine through. Soft Seedlings is a perfect one. All right, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your weekend. If you have a long weekend, I hope you enjoy Monday, and we'll see you again on Thursday. Thanks so much. Ta!